Here today with 4 of my tractors out of the barn, getting ready for a little men's group meeting tonight from our church. The topic is happiness, and this is one of the sources of my happiness, at least, that God has allowed me to have, and that is these old tractors. They were tractors that I was brought up on when I was a kid, and neighbors had all these, with maybe the exception of the Case 400, and that was a tractor I always admired, though, because I'd see it at county fairs, and it was just something to be admired as far as I was concerned. Anyway, these are the tractors that were right before the big power shift in the early 60s, where everybody had to up their game to 4, 5, 6 bottom plow tractors in order to be able to keep up. These were tractors designed for a farmer who was farming 80 to 150 acres. A couple of these would pretty much get the job done for them, and they had different tasks. So I'll try to describe some of the features on each one and let you take a good look at them. This is the Oliver Super 77. This was made from 1954 to 1958. Cost about $3,500 new. Options could have made a little bit more than that. This tractor has a fair amount of options on it. It has spent out hubs, which you don't often see on an Oliver. I put the front weight on. That probably cost $50 at the time. It's got 2 hydraulic outlets, of course, live power takeoff, which Oliver was famous for. It's got the rear weights, which are worth something too. It's got these steps, which I really like. That helps me get on and off this tractor, and that's a helpful thing. I've owned this tractor twice. I bought it once back in 1985. I use it primarily as a hay raking tractor and run the tedder and other little odd jobs. And then I got into no-till farming, didn't need it, wasn't powerful enough, sold it. And then when I switched back to conventional antique farming 10 or 11 years ago now, this was a tractor that I bought back from a neighbor who had acquired it from the guy that I'd sold it to. So anyway, it's back on the farm. Has some sentimental reasons for me, because my dad convinced me to buy this particular tractor, and I drove a lot of Oliver 77s when I was a kid. So the statistics on this was that it had a 3.5 liter 6-cylinder engine. I guess you could buy it in a diesel too, but it generated about 49 horsepower. This one's been had a new engine put in it, so it's juiced up a little bit. I think I can pull a 4-bottom plow with it with enough weight on the thing. Any rate, good tractor. This is probably the tractor that I admired the most from looks perspective when I was a kid, Case 400. This is a tractor that, again, they didn't make too long because they had to up their power game, but they made this from 55 to 59. This is a 57 model based on the serial number. Has about 55 horsepower, so it'll pull a 3-bottom plow really easily. Probably pull a 4-bottom plow with the right weights on it. I used it this year to bale hay with my Case 130 baler from the early 50s. It did a fine job with that. It's got live power takeoff. Hydraulics need a little work on it. One of the outlets is leaking badly, and I'm gonna have to fix that over the winter before I use it with the hydraulics again, remote. But yeah, the Eagle hitch works pretty well. I'll show you that. The Eagle hitch, as you can see why it's called the Eagle hitch, it looks like an eagle's claw. And that was a different thing. Everybody was trying to work around the 3-point hitch dilemma. You'll see in this Farmall coming up how Farmall did it, but this is sort of a fixed hitch. It doesn't, has a little bit of movement in it, but not a whole lot, so you got to get it lined up pretty well. Anyway, a beautiful tractor. I always just thought the styling of this was really good, and so again, one of my favorite tractors to drive. Has 8 forward speeds, which is nice, but the dual range is a little hard to shift to sometimes. This is a tractor that I bought a few years ago, an Oliver 70. Again, a tractor that I drove a little bit when I was a kid. A neighbor had one, and we didn't have one, but a neighbor had it, and I always liked the styling of this tractor. And as I understand it, excuse me, this was one of the first tractors to be styled. It was made, well, I got my notes here, from 35 to 48. There were a few Warriors in there were skipped. This is a 1941 model based on the serial number. And again, 6-cylinder engine, so it's quiet, although it actually has a muffler on it that's under the hood. And this is a straight pipe that gives it a little more throaty sound. But yeah, they're fairly quiet tractors. This one had a steering problem that eventually got fixed, and that was good. I was a little concerned when I wanted to plow with it whether I'd get these wheels to move in and out, but it's a really simple system, works really well, and it was completely free, had no problem moving it. You can see I plowed with it, the spring based on the dirt on the tires. Simple controls. The throttle is a little problematic. I had to put an extra notch in it to run it so it doesn't slip back and forth, but it seems to do fine. It doesn't have hydraulics, so it's got a mechanical lift. That's how you would raise and lower your cultivators. Does not have live power takeoff, so you could use it for things like tedding and things like that. I like plowing with it. It'll pull a nice 8-foot disc with a cultipacker behind it. Seems to have plenty of power for that. 34 horsepower is what they rated it at. Finally, this is the other tractor we're going to let the guys drive around tonight. This is a Farmall 450. Probably my favorite tractor from that era because I got to drive one of these quite a bit. I actually drove a diesel 450 where you started it on gas and you converted it to diesel. You see those. I think they're rarer than the gas model, but fairly modern tractor. Really has good hydraulics on it, has torque amplifier, which was Farmall's big thing. That came out in '54 with a Super MTA, and that was a revelation, really. You could kind of downshift without having to clutch and start all over again. I put these weights on the front. Kind of need them because I have a fast hitch plow that I attach to this, and it balances it out. Put the wide front on it. I just like the look of that better. I've done a lot of work with this spring. It did a lot of plowing and disking, and it's done a good job so far. Had a hydraulic problem one year where it kind of sat on the bench, but this year it's doing well. Has all the full instrumentation. You got 3 different outlets for hydraulics. This is Farmall's answer to the fast hitch, or to the 3-point hitch. It was called a fast hitch. 2 points. You just back them in, they lock in place, and off you go. I don't think you had much control over the tilt of the plow and things like that, but for other implements probably worked pretty well. You can fix it in place or let it swing. Right now, I've got it where I can raise and lower it, but you can't actually lock it by attaching the arms to this area right here and this area over here. Then you got a fixed drawbar and a little more stability. But I found this year that I could, with the plow that I was pulling, that I could raise and lower. It was a trailer plow that I was using this year. I could get the depth right, or not the depth, but the draft right by moving that hitch up and down. And that was a lot easier than adjusting the plow. Anyway, good tractor. One that I think is still fairly highly desired. They only made it from 56 through 58. Supposedly generates 63 horsepower. I'm not certain of that. This one might be a little tired. I would hate to try to pull a 4 or 5 bottom plow with this tractor, but it does 3 very easily, so it might do 4. Anyway, that's the lineup tonight. And hope you enjoy this video. A lot of talking, but I was hoping that you could get a good picture of these tractors, when they were made, what they were capable of doing. And if you have any questions, send me a comment. I'm happy to try to answer them. Again, thank you for watching my videos. God bless you.